एक सेकेंड.
Molasses is a byproduct of the sugar refining process. So once the sugar canes are crushed and all other products are achieved, the the last part is a very viscous, like you can see, a dark browny and viscous thick liquid, which is known as the molasses. Yeah, so this is, as you can see, this is the sugar cane. So mostly the South American countries, they are popular for their sugar. So here, is it okay now, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So after it is melted, as it is shown in this block diagram, after the raw sugar cane is melted and the carbonation is done by adding the limestone as a catalytic, it is then filtered, and various processes of the refining such as decolorization, concentration of various chemicals, and steam from the boiler of the power station, it is then crystallized. The molten liquid is then crystallized, and sugar, which we regularly use as a sweetening agent, or brown sugar, which is a much purer form of the white sugar we use, it is obtained. And the remnant of this entire process, just like as our HFO in fuel, is the molasses. As you can see, in 1 ton of this raw sugar cane, we can achieve, after all this process is done, 970 kg of sugar, edible sugar, and 10 kg, just 10 kg. So it is maybe thousand point zero
Point
one
zero one.
percent, 0.01% of a unit of raw sugar cane is ultimately achieved in the form of molasses.
1%.
So 1%, sir.
Hmm.
1%. So this molasses, as its counterpart, is also a sweetening agent, but it is a more non-conventional sweetening agent. As we can see, I'll just show you one. Beats into sugar, and the uses, the most important uses, it is used for feeding, or transport grade of the molasses are used as additive agents on various alcohols, acetones, some weak acids such as vinegar, citric acid, acetic acids, and yeast propagation, which itself is an alcohol manufacture process. So now that we know the application, the how does it look and do we obtain, we will once check the MSDS of this particular cargo. An Australian firm, which product name, this is the sugarcane molasses which we discussed just right now. So, and even before going into the hazard, stability, physical properties, I would like to show you that this molasses does not come under the category 17 of the IBC code material chemicals, which are states that this is a product to which the IBC code does not apply, which means that it has been seen that the accidental release or even discharge from slops or cleaning liquids of molasses and other similar products are not at all harmful for the uh, marine life or for the human life, or in for the environment as a whole. So here you can see chapter 18 of the IBC code and substances. There are very few other substances, and among them molasses is one. Molasses, as you can see, is an or other substance category chemical, and it does not possess any kind of severe chemical or marine life danger. as which are assessed or provisionally assessed under regulation 6.3 of MARPOL Annex 2 as falling into pollution category Z or other substance, and which do not present safety hazards, may be carried under the appropriate entry in this chapter for noxious or non-noxious liquid substances. So hazards. So now we will just look once into the MSTS or sugarcane molasses. The product type is, it is an animal feed ingredient, as we saw. Fermentation substrate just for the yeast formation for alcohol production, soil reduction and briquetting. So this is the supplier. This composition, as we saw earlier, molasses is a byproduct of sugar factories in countries growing sugarcane or sugar refineries processing raw sugarcane. And its texture is, it is extremely dark browny syrup liquid with caramel like and non-pungent smell. This is very important to note here, this caramel like, as we'll see that excessive, since it is a viscous, obviously it is a viscous liquid, there is a process called caramelization which can occur if we tend to heat it to a level even more than the one agreed on the charter party or by the authorities. So
Like you are making caramel custard in microwave oven, you
exactly,
heat
sir.
it and it becomes like very syrupy and like a burnt sugar syrup.
Burnt, exactly. So the entire cargo can get destroyed. We'll look into that later. So as you saw, since it is an other substance category product, so inhalation, very sweet and caramelly like smell, so no hazard regarding to it. Skin contact, none under normal ambient conditions. Still, it is, since it is a chemical to be carried under a chemical tanker, so it is better not to uh, do any kind of eye contact or ingestion directly from the tanks or from any sample points. Then first aid measures, if someone has any kind of allergy with the when it comes in contact with your skin, so that might cause a slight irritation. So the only thing is you can wash with a soap and cold water and it will subside. And if it comes in contact with the eyes, so it can also cause irritation. So we should wash the eye with cold water, tap water. And one thing which is to be noted is that uh, while we are talking about the contact with eye, it is very important to see the physical condition of this cargo. So at ambient temperature, it is a viscous liquid, but most of the liquids we carry, either crude or lube oil or anything, is viscous. But the interesting thing about is this, the the centistoke rating. So in centistoke unit, while the lube oils are around 100 to 500 centistokes viscous, you can see this the viscosity of molasses at 20 degrees Celsius. It is about 5,000 to 20,000. So it tells us that this cargo needs to be continuously heated to a certain extent to maintain its syrupy nature so as to expedite during the pumping process, or the discharging process might get hindered. So due to this reason, I got uh, another thing, another chapter. Yeah. So that is why it is it should be heated. So heating during the voyage. So as you can see, most of the ambient temperature at in hot and humid countries will be around 30 to 35. So it is stated here that during the voyage, the temperature of the cargo should be maintained 35 to 38, and while discharging, it should be increased to 40 to 41 by continuous application of steam in the tanks. However, at 40 degrees Celsius, although the molasses is completely is relatively stable, but you need to give caution at this point, because if you increase the temperature even further, the entire cargo can get destroyed because there will be thermal decomposition. And as we see in our tube heaters, that if we open the steam too much, so we find that on the fins of the tubes there are uh, coking, because the oil or lube oil, it gets burnt and there are carbon deposits all over, the solid carbon deposits. So that is what will happen in this case as well. At temperature over 60 degrees Celsius, there is always the possibility of thermal decomposition and complete destruction of cargo. Hence, heating instruction is to be strictly followed. And normally the deck people, I think they will log the heating regularly.
And
So
heating has to be done very slowly and maintained and regularly monitored
yes,
morning, evening, afternoon, and logged down and reported to the company if any changes. And cargo needs to be recirculated. All these solidifying cargo, they need to be
to be
circulated. If you're going
recirculated.
to cold
And
cold space, cold place, and you need to heat the lines and all also before they doing recirculation, sampling, turn the pumps, move the pump every day.
injection of
Yeah.
live steam during
Yes.
the later
Live
stages
steam. That
of
is what is live
loading
steam. You're giving steam to the pipelines through
directly
some
through the
hoses.
hoses. Yes,
Yes.
sir. So this is done close to neutral 5.0. So initial boiling point is more than 100 degrees Celsius. So no uh, danger, no worry regarding that. The flammability does not come into question here. It is a non-flammable substance. Explosion limits are not. So relative density at 20 degrees Celsius is 1.4 to 1.44, which means that it will also tend to settle at the seabed, which if it is discharged with the slops or with any cleaning agent, which in turn is a good thing, because our most important concern is that any kind of cargo residues or cleaning agents should not float on the surface of the water, as it can hinder the oxygen absorption of the water from the atmospheric air, and the marine life can get hurt. So any cargo which tends to settle on the seabed is better,
It will
but
not settle. It will
it will just
go down, but
go
because
down
you can see
exactly.
it is soluble in water, forms
Yes, sir.
independent solutions. So
Sir,
then,
as we increase the temperature, this relative density will also increase, so also decrease.
yes,
Okay.
anything if you increase the
Temperature
decrease the temperature, like and cold temperatures, your ghee and all get solidified. So
solidified,
density is
exactly, sir.
decreased.
So in solubility in water, as I said, forms infinite aqueous solution, and vapor pressure, it does not vaporize inside
When you are doing tank cleaning, there should be no signs of water.
water, because to produce carbon dioxide and nitrogen compounds in presence of water, the molasses has a tendency to produce carbon dioxide and nitrogen, which we'll see later in the tank cleaning section. And materials to avoid strong acids, alkalis, and oxidizing agents. Since molasses is a pH 5 element material, so it is basically neutral for daily consumption. So strong acids and alkalis having pOH and pH values at the extreme ends should be avoided. And microbiological stability, it is stable unless diluted with greater than 5% water, when yeast, mold, and some harmless bacterial growth may occur in the warm temperatures. This will come during the tank cleaning section. So we'll see that later. Toxic information. It is not toxic, it is neither acute nor chronic toxic. So ecological information. So this is the COD and BOD data. BOD is biological oxygen on demand, and COD is chemical oxygen on demand. This means that the extent the chemical or the molasses will consume oxygen from the tank or from the ambient atmosphere so that the bacteria can grow in the molasses. So this will also come in the tank cleaning section, because of which we avoid water contamination of the molasses. It is written ecotoxicity due to its high biological oxygen on demand. Accidental discharge of large quantities into rivers or lakes will cause temporary algal growth. As we know, temporary algae is an organism which tends to consume all the oxygen of the water and makes it unsurvivable for the other marine products. So this molasses will tend to increase the formation of algae or bloom
इसको
and
काई
dissolve.
बोलते हैं हिंदी में, ग्रीन कलर की
हाँ
काई।
सर, काई काई बोलते हैं. And this dissolved oxygen, it will reduce the biological oxygen inside the water, will reduce, and the fishes won't be getting any oxygen from the water, and it will lead to some severe and deleterious effects on the marine life.
जहाँ पे भी तालाब वगैरह में काई होती है, कहीं पे भी वहाँ पे फिशेस वगैरह नहीं मिलती
नहीं
हैं
होता,
गर्मियों
yes
में।
sir. So this was the hazard and the toxic information. So here they have told that whatever tank it is, but we have to check for any signs of water in the tank. This is because, as we have seen earlier, these molasses are not harmful in their natural form. But whenever there is a tank cleaning operation going on, that stored uncontaminated molasses should not worry your staff for all. However, the problem comes when water finds its way into an empty tank. If the remaining molasses, which settles at the tank top, it mixes with water, the fermentation process will be triggered. So we know that during the fermentation process, various bacteria grows on the body, and these bacteria will consume the oxygen from the tank atmosphere for their growth, and will release carbon dioxide, which can cause un- unwanted asphyxiation to the crew, which will go inside without checking. Because normally this is a known fact, this is not harmful. So in case of any negligence to safety or during the uh, tank atmosphere checking, there can be serious cases of asphyxiation to the crew. And additionally, ethanol is a byproduct of the fermentation process, which is highly flammable. Ethanol is one of the most common alcohol in the alcohol family, but it, as we know, as we saw yesterday with the same case of methanol, ethanol is also very volatile and flammable. So ethanol can cause severe accidents for cleaners through fire incidents. So that is why it is very important to know that water or any kind of humidity should not run into the cargo even after the discharging has been completed and the cleaning up tank cleaning procedure is going on. So, sir, I think so. This thing has been carried out during discharge. Then a good hot water wash is all that is required. Means after the has taken place, a good hot water wash can be done so that the entire tank is clean. This hot water wash should not be confused with the water contamination we saw, because that is if the water goes into the tank and stays there for a considerable amount of days. But this is just for the tank cleaning, that we instantaneously use a good hot water wash with some marine protected chemical agents to clean the tanks. And if caramelization has occurred on the coils, then after tank cleaning and drying, crack coils with steam and wipe with rags. We'll just need to crack open the steam and need to wipe with rags or wire brush to take out the caramel on the tanks. When molasses stored in zinc tanks, check pH, and if less than 7, use alkaline safety liquid to neutralize the acid. As we know that zinc coated and epoxy coated tanks are very prone to the pH level. So we need to always monitor, because the normal pH value of molasses is 5, as we saw in the MSTS. So in case it is too much acidic, it tends to too much acidic in nature, then we can use a simple alkaline safety liquid to enhance and neutralize the molasses. So this would be also.